we deal with the questions, and the questions are all on the issue of how can a Christian respond to his traditions or his culture. Let me remind you what we said. We said that every tribe has good and bad customs. So you cannot say your background therefore has a problem. There will be good customs and bad customs. What then that means is that your customs can be categorized in 3 areas. Those customs whose origin is Jehovah. How do we know that his origin is Jehovah? Because they are in line with the scriptures. And those we should retain. Just because the missionaries' customs are better than yours or look better, you don't abandon your own customs to copy the missionaries' one. As long as you can tell that customs comes from Jehovah. How do you know it? Again, through the scriptures. However, every tribe you have just said has bad customs. Why do we call them bad? Because Satan is the origin of those customs. How do you know that Satan is the origin? Because they are not in line with the scriptures. What do you do with them? You don't negotiate. Even if your ancestors told you otherwise, even if the ancestors said they'll curse you, you reject them. You can't be both a Christian and follow those customs. But then there's a third set of customs, which are neither bad nor good. It's just a way of doing things. For example, a Kikuyu eats mokimo. It's neither here nor there. It's not religious. It's simply what you prefer eating. A Maasai stands with one leg on top of another. Nothing religious about it. These are neutral. Things that are neither evil or good. And they have our human beings as origin. Those ones, you don't reject or accept. You simply do what you like. And those are customs. What then that means, out of all your customs, you can reject some, accept others, and the ones that you are going to accept are the ones that are from Jehovah, or the ones that are just a way of doing things, and that will be okay. So you must be able to differentiate that. So the other thing we said is that you must boldly counter the resurgence of African traditional religion, because we have had Christianity for more than 100 years, about 150 years in Kenya, and yet all of a sudden we want to go to that worship. You must be clear to your relatives and clansmen that you are a Christian and you are happy to be a Christian. They will tell you there are risks, and you say, I'm ready to face those risks, rather than deny my Lord. And that will be something. There is a definite need to boldly counter the resurgence of African religion among Christians. Because unfortunately they are packaged as, it's just these are customs. We are not stopping you from being a Christian. You can continue being a Christian, but remember you are a Kikuyu first before you became a Christian. Or you are a Maasai first because you became a Christian. This is where the Old Testament is being used as a basis to declare that a number of religious practices, because they are in the Old Testament and are also in African tradition, they are good for us. Remember, we are not Judaists. Judaism is based on the Old Testament. Christians are based on both the Old and New Testament. And the Old Testament has to be checked by the New Testament. So we don't do what the Old Testament says. We do what the Old Testament says as interpreted by the New Testament. The New Testament interprets the Old. And I think that will be something we said and we need to repeat. So what are we then saying? That customs may be okay, but the only customs you are going to refuse are the ones that are related to worship of another other than God. If there's no religion in that custom, there's nothing about faith and belief. Therefore, it will be clear there are no spiritual consequences for doing or not doing them. That custom you can keep. For example, you are told in some of the customs, you are told that, you can't marry before your sister. What does that tell you? There is a belief. There is something that will go wrong with you if you marry. That's religion. Because it's not a question of choice. It's a question of If you dare do that, there'll be Kirumi, there'll be Chira. The Lugos call it Chira because of that. That is an issue. You say, no. I have looked at the New Testament. There is no requirement for age. Age is not a factor. 1 Corinthians chapter 7:9. If your husband dies, you are free to marry anyone, and you are not told about the age or whether it's the first or the second. So I'm just giving you that as an example. That is not just a custom; it's a custom with a religion in it. So what you are saying then, customs are any tradition. The customs you can keep are any tradition that has no consequence. Whether you do them, don't do them, it has no spiritual consequence. That one is okay. But if you say, yes, there are some consequences of doing this or not doing it, that is religion. Because it's supposed to bring blessings, or it's supposed to bring a curse. Nedahu, kanakerumi, or chira, whatever it is in your culture you call it. Or it's a custom that provides a protection from spiritual harm. That means it's another religion. And I'm trying to understand the critical word is there a belief in other than Jehovah in the process? So what are we saying then? How do we evaluate each tradition? Classify what is religious and what is not. What is religious, you now must check more. If it has nothing to do with religion, that you can keep. Number 2, ask yourself, is it in line with the scriptures? According to Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1 to 5, the Bible is saying earlier you could listen to your traditions, your prophets. But in the last days, God talks to us through his Son, through Jesus, who is the Word. So if it's not in line with the scriptures, again reject it. Number 3, check if it involves blood. Any custom which in order to do it, you have to kill a goat or a chicken or anything, that custom must be rejected. That's what we are told in Acts 15:20. That 4:3, ask if not doing it has bad mysterious consequences. If the answer is yes, reject it. Ask, number 5, if doing it has good mysterious, it will bring blessings. It is something useful. If it has spiritual consequences that are good, you still can't do it because you don't want blessings of that nature. If they happen to be, then obviously, and that's one of the things that has come out very clear about Kikuyu customs. Dowry, earlier we thought dowry is just giving money. Now they are saying that the spirits of the dead can visit you if you don't pay dowry. So dowry is no longer just a change of gifts. Dowry is a religious custom. And we are learning that as you pay dowry, you must also pay the dowry of your grandmother. If your grandfather did not pay all the dowry, they are calling it in Kikuyu, virewa gomi. You have to pay the debts of our ancestors. That tells you dowry is no longer just an exchange. It is something the spirits are involved in and makes it worship. That's why we cannot allow, if you are a sister in the Lord, you will tell your father in advance, when my boyfriend comes, please do not ask for dowry. The guy will give you a gift. Because the moment you start counting, this for this, this for this, this for this, it means you are believing in that religion. But giving gifts, generosity is a Christian thing. So what we are saying, you subscribe to our being Christians first. No, that's the thing you check. Is it a way of trying to say, I'm a Kikuyu first, before I'm Christian? If not, you have to reject it. So it is very clear to everybody. You are born again. The first time you are born a Maasai, now you are born a Christian. So before anything Maasai you can do, you first of all please the Lord. If something else is in line with the Lord, so you can see you are a Christian first, a Maasai second. In everything, therefore, the question to ask is, how does this particular custom serve to glorify my master? If it's glorifying ancestors, then you cannot do it. You must reject it. So as I finish, I recommended and I recommend again, the church needs to make stand on the issues of syncretism among its members. Get on should also be doing the same. Anybody should have a clarity that you can't have somebody among your members who believes in Chira or Kirumi or whatever. They need to be people who have been rescued from that belief system. Number 2, you must train people like the way you are doing it tonight, asking for people to be taught, to be discipled. And that's the work of any fellowship. Thirdly, at least once a year, let this topic be taught. Because people are joining your group continuously. Teach it at least once. And maybe one of the things you can do as a group is do a Bible study on the topic so that everybody can debate it and ask each other questions. That will really help. I think that will be something that is very, very, very important. I hope, in addition to the questions I received, that you are also going for other questions, because that will be, because I'm already provoking you, and I'm hoping that you will give us more questions. Sorry. Let me just show you an example of Kamba beliefs, just to understand their customs that are religion. I got this from the internet. The Kamba say you should not whistle at night. It sounds okay if it is maybe about thieves. But this was prohibited because the elders believed it chased away the gods of the community. In fact, whistling at night will usually result in another beating if you're a child. And a sacrifice will be offered as an apology for the gods. So whereas whistling was innocent, the moment you realize that whistling is connected with the ancestors, then you whistle at night to show them you don't believe in, you are not under control of those spirits of the ancestors, Goma or Gomi, whatever. Another one. When you have a dream, you should try not to remember the dream. Why? Remembering your entire dream can be a sign that you are a genius to modern people, but to the tribe, the community, the Kamba, if you remember every detail of your dream from beginning to end, it's a sign that the ancestors are coming for you. You are going to die soon. Can you again see the practice is not a custom you can continue with? Because you know there's nothing in the dream. Some of it may be just come because you ate a lot of ugali. But some of it may be the Lord talking to you, but He cannot. That is not scriptural. Another one. They say that people, which doctors, can come from, and I don't think I have enough time to go to this, and because it's not yours. How that it's about, they have beliefs about how to become a witch doctor. Then there's something about an unmarried lady. Maybe I should. I don't know how many Kambas are in this meeting. Allow me to explain this using an example. Let's say, and Musembi has a daughter called Mutindi, and Mutindi goes on to have several children, but never gets married. If she passes away, she won't be buried until one of her children, especially her son, is present. When an unmarried lady passes away, there is a serious issue if you don't want the spirit to be with you. Major towns in Kenya back in the day were only two, Mombasa and Nairobi, which meant people were walking hundreds of miles if somebody dies before the person can be buried. And that is not Christian. Because in Christianity, and you can read my book, some of you may already have read my book, Christianity and Culture, and have a chapter on death. When you die, your body is of no consequence. It's just returning soul back to soul. Whether we bury you, don't bury you, cannot affect you, and cannot affect the living, except you smell on them if they don't bury you quickly. So these are the customs I'm showing you that these are the questions you asked.